This is GACenter, your look at the Grand Arena Championships of content creators from around the globe. Here are your hosts, Flair from Gaming Embers and the Nev from the Escape Podcast.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to GACenter, your home for all the stats and data on all your favourite GACers. That's what we do. You know it, you love it. That's what we do. So, Flair, how you doing today, buddy?
Good for the most part.
Oh, God.
We'll get into that later.
Don't start.
We'll get into it later.
Yes, we will. We will.
But it's the start of 3v3.
Yeah,
and that's
love it. I see your reaction's the complete opposite to mine. I love 3v3.
Here's the thing. I love 3v3 as well. I'm biased to it because it was my first Kyber. But I'm also dealing with the 3v3 fatigue because we already had it the month before last.
That's the preposterous reason for not liking 3v3. Oh, so that by that reasoning, you should be getting 5v5 fatigue.
5v5 is every other game mode except for this.
Yeah, exactly. It's every other game mode except for this. That's
when you
why,
get like, oh, this is a random sudden burst. Anyways,
that's why 3v3 is so special. Okay, we'll stop. So, just tell our lovely audience what to expect.
Yes, we're continuing covering the same people that we always have been, but of course, during the course of today's episode of GACenter, any follows, bits, subs, anything like that will be recognized in chat, and we will take a period of time at the end of the episode to recognize that. There won't be any notifications or anything on screen. Paul and any other moderators will take care of the shouting outs in chat during the show. So with that, Neil,
okay,
let's get on with it.
Let's get it on. First contender. You start, not me.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was me. Well, what you sent me is different.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Hang on a minute. What is going on here? It, like, skipped a half a dozen slides. I do not know why, but it skipped a half a dozen slides. That was strange. Okay. Technical difficulties. So, and we'll
Neil,
begin.
let's get started with it.
So, we start with Bulldog dropping only one battle all week. The master of the division played an absolute masterclass, picking up flawless victories in round 2 and round 3. He is not going to make it easy for the rest of the division. Bulldog maintains his undefeated run.
Infinem is finally in division with us. He actually jumped to division 5 for this month, but he had round 1. He had relatively weak defense to strike through, and his opponent couldn't clear through his defense. Round 2, he had to deal with a pretty tough defense. 11 out of the 12 best characters were on defense, but he managed to get through it, and his opponent just couldn't do it. Round 3, he was actually dealing with a whole lot more than what he was used to in terms of rosters. But because of smart placements of his teams, he was able to get a bunch of holds and shut them down, and that gave him the win.
Gaming Embers, Flair. I mean, terrible start from Flair. I mean, I know it says 3-0, but absolutely terrible start from Flair. Dropping an easy, flawless victory to a GO team. A GO team. Sure, he got the full clear, but really, Flair, dropping a flawless victory to a GO team? Really? Round 2 did what he needed to do. You got the flawless victory in round 2, but round 3, again, throwing away a flawless victory to a GO team. I mean,
I don't want to throw my best toys against a GO team if I don't have to.
You know what? It's a good job you got 3-0 this week, because next week, Well, there is no next week for you, is there?
There's not, unfortunately.
You're up.
Anyways, on to Commander Cody. Commander Cody, round 1, he had a full clear. No one showed up to play. Round 2, his Night Sisters held so strong on his defense. And again, just smashed through it. Round 3, full clear. He got 5 holds with his Night Sisters, his fleets, and his Rex clones. A triple crown. Good job, Commander Cody.
And we're on to Brainkill 3-0. Triple whammy for Brainkill. Great week. I mean, really, really great week. And it's going to be absolutely cracking for his league standings. It's definitely going to appreciate 3-0. Solid full clears in rounds 1 and rounds 3. And a glorious, flawless victory in round 2. Bit like what you did, but he did it better.
Wow. Thanks, Neil.
So there's Division 5-6, and as you can see at the top, Bulldog is the only undefeated competitor in Division 5-6. And where are you, Flair?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
And where are you going to be next week?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh. You know what this is, Flair? I know you can't see it, but right now I'm rubbing my 2 fingers together. It's the smallest violin
I don't want to talk about it.
Playing just for you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, look, if I don't roast you now, I don't get to roast you for the rest of the show. You get to roast me back.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next div.
All right. Bringer of Death. Round 1, he dropped twice to AV, to Asajj Ventress. Couldn't topple her. He tried to do some other cheeky things. He tried to solo Phoenix with HK and got stun locked to death. Tried to do some 5s mismashing against JTR. But his opponents couldn't clear his ships or his bugs. So that saved him there. Round 2, almost a full clear until he hit the ships. Could not do it. But his Shock T clones held strong on his defense, securing him the win there. And round 3, he got a full clear 1-shot. And again, his fleet held strong, locking out full clears. So he won a lot because he set solid defenses.
Anything else? That was good.
Yep. This is good. He did really good. He's playing catch up.
Oh yeah, he is. 3-0's good. Okay, we're on to the Lone Gunman. 2-1 for the week. Round 1 got very greedy and tried to stretch his good teams for a full clear. It didn't work out and he lost. Round 2 tried to be cute with a Farm Boy Luke lead. Spoiler alert, it didn't work, but he still got the full clear and the win. Round 3 went in against a Bounty Hunter team with Treya, and it didn't go well, but he still got the full clear and the win. 2-1 for the Lone Gunman.
On to Stone 14. Tune in towards the end of the episode. We actually get to talk a little more in depth with him. But round 1 was a battle of efficiency. Neither opponent full cleared, so he went for characters over ships, and that sealed his victory there. Round 2, dude went heavy defense, took a couple of double taps, but he managed to clear all of the ground troops, left the fleet, but again, it was enough for the win. Round 3, he looked, he had a couple of issues. He did have a crash, and despite that, he still was able to persevere. He one-shot the rest of the board after that, got the full clear, defenses held strong. He got the win there, so 3-0. The crashes are getting bad for people. Absolutely.
Renard, 3-0, triple crown. You can see the zeros in the losses. Our first triple crown of the day, Renard the Fox. Our favorite. Yes, it is. Who else?
Commander Cody.
Commander Cody got a triple whammy.
He didn't get a full clear.
Talking triple crown here, not triple whammy. Lots of people have. If you can get a triple whammy, anyone can get a triple whammy. Anyway, let me get back to Renard. Dude, I'm going to roast you. Deal with it. So round one, opponent was flawless victoried, completely ran out of steam, didn't even bother with a full clear. That's what you get for going heavy D. That's what you get for going heavy D. Your opponent will full clear you, and you can't do the same. Round two, again, opponent was flawless victoried. Again, went to heavy D, couldn't get a full clear. And round three, opponent was flawless victoried again, and they went far too heavy on D, couldn't get a full clear. So Renard not only got a triple crown, but none of his opponents got full clears. 20 holds, no losses. That's an impressive week.
Orlemar is just right behind him, though. He only dropped one battle this week. Round one, both of them got full clears, but he managed the one shot, and his opponent stumbled on Revan and Padme. Round two was his only loss. It was against Malevolence on Fleet, but his opponent couldn't clear his negotiator, so he took the win there. Round three, his Darth Revan and Dooku teams held his front wall, and his negotiator held the back, and he was able to one-shot everything on the board, again, securing the win. Pretty easy triple whammy. It literally one battle short of a second triple crown.
Moyo. Now, Moyo didn't have the best of weeks, only got a 2-1, full clear, and a no-show in round one, which is a great start. You know, you get the full clear, your opponent doesn't show up. He took that momentum into round two with another full clear and another no-show. So he really wasn't being tested. And I think that was what caused him to come a cropper in round three, because he didn't have that luck in the final round, and he tripped and fell over a Darth Revan in round three, unfortunately. So 2-1 for the week. But if he'd been tested in rounds 1 and 2, he might not have been so complacent in the final round. But still, 2-1's good. But this division, 2-1s are going to hurt you.
Another 2-1 with Canadian's favorite son, Andy. Round one, he got the win. He had to deal with an auto deploy, and was able to didn't get the full clear because of Padme, Talzin mishmash team. But his opponent didn't full clear him. Didn't get much done there. Round two, unfortunately, his opponent set a much stronger defense. He had to deal with a JKR team that was tripping him up a lot, and a Padme team as well. And then round three was another win. Opponent had a pretty decent roster, but decided not to use any of their good toys on defense. Got a couple holds with his sisters, and he was able to get the full clear despite dropping 3 battles himself.
Triple whammy for Vendetta. One loss away from a triple crown. I mean, obviously he got the 3 full clears, 2 flawless victories. None of his opponents got full clears. None. I mean, he was only getting like single or double holds in those rounds, but it was enough to stop his opponents from getting full clears. His only loss was against a crew team. Only loss, and it was a crew team. So you kind of hate to see it, but hey, triple whammy, really, really good week. Vendetta remains undefeated.
Next up, we have Marco. He was actually a guest on GAC Hospital this last week with Biscuit Weasel. Round one, he had to deal with an auto deployment, but he was able to clear 3 of the 4 territories. But his opponent didn't attack either, so that helped out a lot. Round two, he dropped a couple of battles throughout, couldn't get the full clear, and his opponent was able to beat him that way. Round three was a pretty close win. He got his opponent got stuck on his triumvirate, beat the top territories, but didn't get enough banners because he didn't clear the right zones. If you clear the fleets, you don't get as many banners as you do clearing the back character territory. So he won there. So 2-1.
Jake, my amigo from the UK, 2-1. Nice round one. Despite not clearing his opponent's fleet, his opponent was a no-show. So when your opponent doesn't show, it doesn't matter if you don't beat your opponent's fleet. You're going to get the win. Round two was the exact same as round one, with one exception. His opponent showed up. So losing to the fleet in round two lost him the round, unfortunately. But no such problem in round three. Full clear and a no-show from his opponent. So 2-1 for Jake. And there's Division 3-4 with V for Vendetta, top of the shop, undefeated, 15-0.
He's doing good.
Oh yeah, the undefeateds. You know, we at the end of last month we had a lot of people undefeated. So those undefeated records are starting to get whittled away. So we've got one in the other league, Bulldog. We've got one in this division, Vendetta. So be interested to see if there's any undefeated left in Division 2 after the first week of this month. But Andy's not doing too bad. I mean, there's a couple of people immediately above him that he can catch. But it's looking good, that league.
Though, if you look at it, all Vendetta has to do is lose a single battle, and he's no longer in the top.
Yeah.
Orlamar has him beat on banners, and Andy actually is respectively doing well on banners.
Mm-hmm. Andy's doing well on banners. All he has to do is clock up a couple of round wins, and he'll be sitting pretty. Things can go wrong, terribly wrong for good players.
All it takes is one, and it's going to change everything.
Yeah. But 23,947. That's a good banner count, especially against the people immediately above him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's move on to my division, Division 2.
Oh, look at that. We start off with Fort Mort. He had round one was a full clear. And his opponents only set 3 teams on defense. So that was a totally easy one for him. Fourth round in a row that they couldn't break down a wall despite only setting 3 teams against him. Round 2, he won. You can't remember the complete results, but he did take down a couple of walls. Didn't get the full clear though. Round 3, he had to deal with a lot in front of him. So he set some strong defense, and he was able to take full of the top. And even though it took a lot to clear his ships, he was still able to take the win. So he got the 3-0 there.
Bravo, Fort Mort.
Mm-hmm.
Geek Girl had a 2-1 this week. Nice win in round 1, despite some trouble from her opponent's Night Sisters. But it wasn't too troublesome. She still got the win. Practically a no-show from her opponent in round 2 as they hit and run after one battle. I mean, literally, one battle, gone. So can't quite understand that, but very, very good news for Geek Girl. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to take that 2-0 and make it a 3-0. Lots of trouble in round 3. Lots of losses against multiple teams, but 2-1 is still good for the week in Geek Girl's new division because she did get promoted to Division 2 from Division 3 last month. So 2-1 for our first week in Division 2. Good showing, girl.
Boma got the 3-0 this week, but as he puts it, it was a very ugly 3-0. Round 1, he couldn't get the full clear. His opponent set a super tough defense. He knew he didn't need the full clear, so he played like he didn't need the full clear. So with that, he managed to score just a couple 100 banners more. And that was enough for him to take the win there. Round 2, he got a full clear, lost a single battle against JKR, but everything else went smoothly. Got a bunch of holds, securing a huge banner win over his opponents. Round 3 was, according to him, the ugliest full clear you've ever seen, short of your round 3 this week. Lost 2 battles to JKR, 1 to Empire, and the Empire with Palpatine Invader, 1 to Boss, several more characters across the rest of his battles. But his opponent struggled against his defense and eventually just gave up after clearing the bottom 2 zones. So he took the win there.
Wrangler. Wrangler had a decent week, 2-1. Prevented full clears with good defense in rounds 1 and 3, which got him his wins. Had some very, very sweet defensive holds in rounds 1 and 2. But it was round 2 that failed him. And it wasn't just a fail. I mean, it was the kitchen sink that failed him in round 2. He threw 24 teams at a crew team that all failed spectacularly. But still, 2-1. You can't grumble with a 2-1.
Yeti. According to him, they had a very crazy week in the Yeti Hoth Cave. Round 1 was an auto set, but he got the full clear, got an easy win because of that. Round 2, his opponent set a ultimate slacker on defense. And again, knowing how Yeti is, he looks to pour over his opponent's defenses, their history, and set according to that. And what he placed worked. But because of that, he didn't get the full clear, but he didn't need the full clear. And then round 3, he had another ultimate Kylo, but didn't have to worry about him on defense because his opponent threw him on offense. And again, he set a couple of traps, set GG up in the front, Darth Revan and Sith in the back, and the trap worked. So with that, he got a ton of holds from there and secured a 3-0 with only a single loss. Good job, Yeti.
Scribe 2-1 for the week. Well, you know how a solo at the wrong time can just ruin a round. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's what happened for Scribe. It was the wrong time and it was the wrong place and it was a Malik solo that did it for Scribe. So just didn't quite work for him, but full clear in round 2 and a flawless victory in round 3 made the week a good one. Bad start, excellent finish, strong finish.
Neil, did you not sacrifice enough goats this week?
Hey, I think I sacrificed enough.
You sacrificed enough, but not enough to keep the BlueStacks gods from hating you.
No, the BlueStacks gods hated me in round 1 and they hated me in round 2. Yes, they did.
Absolutely. It's surprisingly enough though, round 2, you won by by a single banner?
One banner.
Banner.
Two crashes on a Darth Revan team.
And that took 2 of your good teams against Darth Revan.
I went solo and duo mad, basically, and then I needed exactly 68 banners from my fleet to win, so I went in with 3 ships, no reinforcements, and yeah, I did the business.
So, other than that, not bad. You just need to hope that the BlueStacks gods are a little more in your favor this next week.
Yes, I will make lots and lots of sacrifices this
Extra
week.
Sacrifices
to the RNG gods this week. And I will say the RNG's prayer.
Also, don't play on laptops that aren't yours.
Yeah, there is that as well. Okay, Rand totally rocked it in rounds 1 and rounds 2. Didn't get full clear in round 2, but who cares when you get the win? At the peak of the championship with victory in sight and the 3-0 within his grasp, the game crashed. And he lost by a few banners. Just, that build-up, 3-0 in your grasp and then crash. So, unfortunately, 2-1. I'm not too cut up about it because he's in my division. So, but I'm gutted for you, Rand. Genuinely gutted for you.
He's only saying that. Little Gator, round 1, got the full clear. He had to 2-tap a Treya though, but he got a couple holds on his lines with a Stormtrooper Han with Scoundrels and Bugs. Round 2, almost got the full clear until he got to his favorite part of the match, his ships. But Bugs, Bears, and Grievous got plenty of holds. Round 3, again, couldn't get the full clear. That's hurting him. The lack of full clears is hurting his banner count. But neither his opponent. It simply became an efficiency battle at that point. So 3-0, not the cleanest of 3-0s, not the prettiest of scores, but a 3-0 is a 3-0.
And there is Division 2, and look, I've gone above Rand.
Look at you, Neil. You're so happy, aren't you?
Well, look at that banner score. I mean, if we were just basing the division off banners, who'd be number 1 right now?
It would be you.
It would be me. So,
but banner score doesn't always mean efficiency.
anybody above me, just, hey, if you draw with me, just know that I'm going to overtake you. You will be
all
defeated.
It takes is one loss, Neil.
By my banner count.
All it takes is one loss, Neil.
So, I'm happy with that 12-3. Obviously, we've got Bomber and 4, top of the shop, 14-1. But, hey, Yeti has just come into Div 2, promoted recently from Division 3, and he is up there already.
He's ready to fight.
He is ready to fight. Obviously, he's going to have a slightly lower banner count than everybody else in the division. But I really don't think that that's going to worry him too much, because 13-2 is a cracking start to his introduction to Division 2. Well, I'm waiting for you to say something because I've been talking.
I think this calls for a commercial, Neil.
Yes, we could cut to a commercial quite easily, very, very comfortably.
Let's do that.
See you in a minute.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
Did you know that if you signed up to become a Patreon, you could get tons of rewards? Force Ghost Scotty could do a roster review for you. Neil Andrew Air could share Grand Arena tactics. Or Paul could even help you get maximum stars in Geonosis Territory Battle. And you even get access into the after show. Sound good? Sign up to be a Patreon today. For as little as $2 a month, you could unlock a ton of potential content and also get closer to the hosts. Head to patreon.com/The Escape Pod to sign up.
Have you been interested in getting items 3D printed but haven't wanted to buy one of those expensive printers? Are you looking for a literally one-of-a-kind tech gift gadget? Evil Genius 3D Printing and Gadgets is your one-stop shop for both of those items. Nerd-owned and Escape Pod approved, put Lenny the Evil Genius to work for you. If you can dream it, he could possibly make it. Contact Lenny at evilgenius3dprinting@gmail.com for more information. That's evilgenius3dprinting@gmail.com. Get something unique in your hands.
And welcome back. It's segment 2. It's time to talk heavy hitters now. Oh, yes, it is. We are Div 1 all the way now. And we've got some new people in Division 1. There are some people in Division 1 that just got promoted from Division 2. So let's get it on. And we're going to begin with Whatever. Now, Whatever, like me, loves 3v3. He loves 3v3. And he started off his first week in Division 1 with a triple whammy. 1 loss away from a triple crown. 1 loss. So it's unfortunately a triple whammy. Yes, when you have 1 loss, Pete, it's a triple whammy, not a triple crown, Pete. So anyway, round 1 wasn't any issue with a predictable win based on the weak defense that was set. So it was a nice, easy, flawless victory in round 1. Round 2 saw much of the same with a very lackluster defense from his opponent. Even beat a GL Ray with a very newly acquired Slacker. Flawless victory in round 2. Now, round 3 was his undoing for the Triple Crown, though, as he suffered a single loss to a Bounty Hunter team, which I'm sure he'll be kicking himself for. But triple whammy. First week in Division 1. You got to love it.
So I've double checked and double checked and double checked, and everywhere I look, I don't see anything for Spartan because it turns out he didn't lock in.
Oh,
So,
again? Did that last month as well.
Yeah, I think he did it one of the weeks last week.
He did it one of the weeks last month. That's really, really going to hurt him.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be a big 0 for 3 this week.
Darth Biscuit. Biscuits. I don't know if he's in the house, but if he is, everybody else drink, because I just said biscuits. Anyway, 2-1, good start. First week in Division 1, up from Division 2. Screwed up totally in round 2, dropping 2 battles. And even though he got the full clear, his opponent was just far, far, far more efficient. Round 3, new defense, and his opponent struggled very, very hard. So 2-1 for the Biscuit Weasel.
All right, so we have another odd one. Urz has. We know that he went 1 and 2. We confirmed it with him. We actually talked with him and said he got 1 and 2. But for some reason, the reporting to SWGOH.gg, or SWGOH.gg, who provides us all the stats, all of the thing above us. He unfortunately none of the data actually showed up. So if we can get a hold of the data in the future, including all the banner counts and whatnot, we will update that on the board. But we do know he got a 1 and 2.
Wiggensbog, Wigsy. Faced an auto defense in round 1. Used, generally the same teams that you would for an auto deploy. Just had to think about it a little bit, so we got the win there. Round 2, had to face a slacker team and came close to beating it with a few bait characters, but ultimately it didn't work for him and he lost. Round 3, standard D to beat, so took the risk and used lower tier teams for the front line so that he could win and increase his banner count with some solos on the back wall. It worked, and solo the back wall he did. 2-1 for the Wigsy.
Bitcoin. First 2 rounds he put were pretty much not really much to talk about. Got pretty high scores on both of those. Third round, he got paired up with his first double galactic legends at 5.2 million GP, who according to him happens to be his girlfriend. I mean, I'll be honest, if I was in his shoes, it's a lose-lose situation if that's actually the case. And he took the safer of the 2 losses and lost to his girlfriend. So Bitcoin, you lost to a girl.
Cubs had a really, really good week. One loss away from a triple crown. So many people were 1 loss away from a triple crown this week. So obviously it's only a triple whammy. It would have been an amazing week for him if it wasn't for a pesky Night Sister team. Seems to be Night Sisters and crew teams that are throwing spanners in works for people. I mean, obviously for you, it was Geos. But for Cubs, it was a pesky Night Sisters team that cost him that loss. Obviously, round 2 and round 3 were flawless victories. But yeah, that 1 loss in round 1 makes it a whammy and a crown for the week. But still 3-0.
Jigabachi had a 3-0 this week. Had an efficient offense win. Had a major full clear, and but his opponent was got a full clear as well. But he got the 1 shot, and his opponent fell to the GG once, giving him the win there. Round 2 had to deal with the GL Ray and got loads of help from the likes of people like Ando and a couple of others, and gave him the full clear with their help. And his opponent threw complete garbage in the back, so that helped out a lot. Round 3, he had an opponent who joined his stream and was talking to him through the whole time. He put up a really strong defense and took some thinking to do, but they got through it. Got another full clear and got the win from there. So 3-0. Keep on rocking, dude.
Black Mamba did not have a good week. 1 and 2. Yeah, the week started so well for him. Nice win in round 1, and then blam! Bad efficiency in round 2 with way too many losses caused the defeat there, and a pesky slacker in round 3 ruined his week. So tough luck. Only 1 and 2 for Black Mamba this week. Oh my God, there's something wrong with that, right? That can't be right.
3-0.
That cannot be right.
He got 3-0. Look at his losses. So Thaddeus going nerdy. Yes, he got a 3-0. He actually won. Round 1, it was an efficient win. Got the full. No, it was didn't get the full clear. He was stopped with he stopped his opponent with a strong defense. And wasn't fun there, but again, not just enough to take the win. Full clear second match, and again, his bottom back territories stopped his opponent. Round 3, his opponent set up GOs, and he had some fun cranking up the loss count against GOs. But he was able to clear the bottom, and that was enough for him to take the win. So I don't know how many baby goats he sacrificed, but apparently it was enough.
Clearly it was enough. It's Ranger J, 1999. Great round 1. Picked up a flawless victory. But round 2 was a problem. It really was. A Geo mirror match just went completely and utterly wrong. And he had to do some major gymnastics with his roster. 2 solos and 6 duos later, and all that stood between him and victory was a fleet. And unfortunately, that fleet remained stood between him and victory, and he didn't get the win in round 2. Round 3 was scant consolation, but still a victory, as his opponent ran away and didn't even show up. So 2-1 for Ranger this week.
Gridsy, the man with the hair. Round 1, got the full clear one shot. His opponent did get a full clear, but it wasn't the one shot. So he won because of the efficiency there. Round 2, he lost a Malik solo versus Rex, the Rex clones plus Shakti. But other than that, he got the full clear and lost with that one because of the loss there. He got full cleared. Round 3 was lost his Bastel a Jedi against a Newt team, and his opponent just full cleared him, just swept him over, and was just much more efficient. So 1 and 2 for Gridsy. The hair needs to do some winning for you, buddy.
2 and 1 for the week for Macias. His first round was a learning experience while he polished off the rust. Sounds like an excuse, but he he did legitimately skip the last 3v3 GAC. So there's bound to be a few cobwebs there so that he could get a title. Round 2 was a win. Totally smoked his opponent's GL Ray and picked up the round win. And round 3 was a full clear, but not for his opponent, as Macias left the nice JKL Hoda OB team on his back wall. Very sneaky. 2 and 1 for Macias.
Moon got a triple crown this week, and he is excited about that. Round 1 it was a battle of higher scores and good play managing his banners. And because of that, he had a better margin against his opponent and stole the win that way. Round 2, his opponent dropped a ton of battles and gave up about halfway through. So another win right there. Round 3 had a little bit of a tougher defense, but his opponent really saved the big guns for offense. So it became an efficiency battle. And they both one-shot everything. But, a battle of efficiency here and there, a couple characters here, or a little bit of protection and health there. Moon just stole the win. And 3-0, triple crown. Excellent job, Moon.
It's just Ian. 2-1 for the week. Great efficiency from Ian this week with impressive wins in the first 2 rounds, which is what you'd expect from the theory crafter extraordinaire. But it all came to a head in round 3 when he hit a slacker wall, and he just ended up using teams against him that he would have probably liked to have saved for a Jedi Knight Revan team, because it resulted in him losing to that JKR team, and unfortunately he lost the round. But still, great week, 2-1 for It's Just Ian.
DB had a tough week this week. He went 1-2. His losses are higher than his wins, and man, that's tough to see. Round 1 had to throw a ton. Like I lost count of how many teams he threw against Galactic Legends Ray, and because of that, could not get the full clear. Even though he got a hold here and a hold there, it just wasn't enough to win. Round 2, threw a ton at Ray again, and just couldn't take her down. And again, he got full cleared, took the loss there. Round 3 was the saving grace. He got a full clear, dropped a couple of battles throughout the course of it, but his opponent did not show up to play. So he got the first win of the week. So congratulations. But man, GL Ray was tough for him.
And we're on to Mudbum. Now, it says 1 and 2, but technically it was 1-1-1. Because Mudbum's bad week was he won 1, he lost 1, and he drew 1. Unfortunately, the tie counted as a loss because of these horrible GP rules that they come up with. Sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes it goes against you. It's just, it must be annoying for someone, especially when you're either chasing a 2-1 or a 1-2. But yeah, the tie ended up going against him, so it's 1-2 for the week. Bad luck, old boy.
Poor Mudbum. Anyways, DPK, round 1, cleared by a huge margin. His GG and Dooku held strong, showing that Separatists are superior. Round 2 had to deal against a Supreme Leader Kylo. Couldn't clear it, so he did not get much in the way of banners that round. Did get a lockup and a couple of losses. Took the loss and couldn't clear anything else from there. Round 3, he got the clear, but he had a couple of trip ups, and it's those trip ups that cost him the win there. So 1 and 2, good solid effort, but man, just some things just did not roll in his favor.
End all be all. 3-0, triple whammy for the week. Very, very good for him. Quite a few considerable losses there. I mean, it was still a very easy week for him. I mean, his round 2 and his round 3 were twice as sweet as his opponents. Didn't even show. I mean, series, who doesn't show for a final? I mean, that's one thing that just boggles me. If you've won your first round, you've won your second, why would you not show up to the championship final? So, hey, nice and easy for Endall, though. 3-0 for the week. And there is Division 1 bottom. It's not looking good for Urza at the moment, and it's definitely not looking for DB. DB had a bad first month. He had a really, really bad first month. So a 1-2 at the start of this month, yeah, he's not going to be happy with that. He really, really needs to string together some 3-0s, and he needs to start stringing them together fast.
And as always, Thaddeus is clocking up the losses.
Yeah, but hey, if he just had a few more banners, he'd be ahead of DPK and Gridzy. Gridzy's not having a good time at the moment as well, and obviously, Spartan not posting anything definitely helped everybody below him, but everybody below him, with the exception of Going Nerdy, got 1 and 2s. So the mere fact that Going Nerdy got the 3-0 is what put him ahead of Urza. So took him off the bottom of the table. So good for him. But let's have a look at how things have changed in the top. Oh, there we go. No.
The shake up.
Oh, there we go. This is where, so no more undefeated runs at the top of Division 1. Wigsy lost one. Oh, but he's still top of the shop. Bitcoin is still top of the shop. Hey, those were the two guys that everybody wanted to beat, and they've lost one. They've given everybody else below them a chance. Whatever came in with a 3-0. Cubs Van Han comes in with a 3-0. Moon comes in with a 3-0. So everybody's had that chance to catch up to them. It's definitely. It's gonna be an interesting month. This, I really, really do feel that it's gonna be a very interesting month.
And I feel like we have to constantly reiterate, whatever, all it takes for him is for Wigs or Bitcoin to lose another battle, and whatever is nipping at their heels because he has a banner count over them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the elites.
This is weird. I'm not used to seeing the numbers in this order.
I know. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
I know. Something's wrong. Something's wrong here. First round, he lost to a coin flip, dealing with Rex speed. And because of that, he lost the coin flip and didn't get the full clear there. Second time around, didn't get the full clear, but he got a win by just taking down more teams. And but his opponent didn't attack, so that helps him a lot. Third round, and he wants to give credit to Biscuit Weasel because Biscuit did help him craft a solid defense. Obviously, the person behind GAC Hospital would be really good at doing this. Had a 2-tap a Supreme Leader Kylo, and after that, he saw some trash in the bottom, and he just went for it. Got a bunch of holds on his side, and clearing off enough to secure the win. Paul got a 2-1. That's weird.
Real Fruit Ninja 3-0 with a loss, which means it's a triple whammy. Not a triple crown, Pete. It's a triple whammy. So Mike's first 2 rounds, easy. Easy. Having to fight against weak opponents. His third round, however, was not easy, as his opponent was not weak. I mean, he got the full clear, but missed out on the triple crown to go for a feat. You heard me. He dropped a triple crown for the Trooper feat. No crown for you. Only whammy.
Scorch has had a better week than he's had in the past. Round 1, dropped a good number of battles against a Phasma-led First Order team. But his opponent didn't show up, so he could drop away, and there's no issues there. Round 2, he got the full clear with a 1-shot and got some holds to secure the victory there. Round 3 was another full clear 1-shot, but unfortunately, his opponent did the same, and it became a battle of efficiency, which he lost. So 2-1, but hey, an excellent performance from Scorch this week.
Lazy Turtle. I mean, the 1 and 2 this week, it really, really doesn't do him justice. I mean, yes, he lost 2 rounds due to very, very poor efficiency, but that poor efficiency couldn't really be helped because despite the score for this week, he actually took out GL Rays in both those rounds with his slacker. He just wasn't able to do it as efficiently as he liked. So it was a lack of efficiency that cost him the 2 rounds, but I'm sure he'll bounce back next week.
If you're judging Ando by how he performed last month, this would be kind of strange. But he got the 3-0 and he was 1 battle shy of a triple crown. And for him, opponent went heavy offense in round 1 and he failed on a couple of battles. So Ando managed to steal it from there. Round 2 did drop a single battle, the one battle that stole his triple crown against an Emperor Palpatine, Bastila Fallen, and a Malak. But after that, his JKL managed to get a hold on defense, and that helped him out quite a bit. Round 3, his opponents just could not do much in the way of clearing. You can tell Ando got a ton of holds this week. And he beat, as Ando put it, he beat his opponent's score before he even attacked the ships. So Ando, 3-0, triple whammy. Excellent job.
I need a breaking news thing, something to flash in front of the screen. Breaking news: the 2-1 that Ranger got was because of a crash.
Ooh.
You remember when I told you he did those 2 solos and the 6 duos, and all that stood between him and the triple was him and victory was Fleet? Well, the Fleet crashed, and that is why he lost that round. So breaking news confirmed. Ranger just confirmed it. It was a crash that cost him round 2, not bad play or poor efficiency. Anyway, we're on to solo base. I mean, that's weird. Just seeing 2 and 1, you don't expect it. Most people would be happy with a 2-1, but not solo. Oh no. Round 1 was a loss due to poor defensive setup, so risks had to be taken, and a nest solo unfortunately failed, and it didn't help. But round 2 was better as he fixed his defense, holding his opponent to just 1 cleared zone. Round 3 was very, very touch and go, as Slacker versus GL Ray failed. And 3 extra losses also added to that, so he literally had to wait with bated breath to see how efficient and effective his defense was, and boom, it did its job. It did so holding 6 times, so yes. Oh, and he would like a public service announcement. JKL Hoda Bays beats Darth Revan, Bastilla, Shan, Fallen, and Malik. So nice little PSA for you there, but 2 and 1 for solo. I'm sure he's not going to make the defensive mistakes for the rest of the month that he did in round 1 of this week.
Ram Bam. Again, you have a lot of people who got 3 and 0s and like 2 and 1s that you don't normally expect.
I know.
Just from last month's performance. This is not to say how they are in general, but if you were to base solely on last month, you'd be kind of surprised. But Ram Bam went 3 and 0. Round 1 had an auto deploy to deal with, and while he struggled against some of the teams and couldn't get the full clear, still got the win. When you deal with an auto deploy like that, it's really hard for the opponent to actually take the win from there. Round 2, one shot everything, and his malevolence could not fall. His opponent threw 6 battles against it. Round 3, struggled against a Poggle-led Geo team and ships, but ultimately got the full clear. And again, his opponent couldn't get past the ships, and also couldn't clear up his own Poggle-led team. Lots of holds on his defense, so a good solid 3-0 from Ram Bam.
And we're on to Jake from America. Unlike Jake from the United Kingdom. 3-0, nice triple whammy this week. Nice win with only a couple of losses in round 1, just dusting off the cobwebs, I guess. Round 2, tried a Thrawn suggestion for Kylo. It was not a good suggestion, and he ended up having to do a cleanup with a 5-0 first. Round 3 beat Slacker with a gas and a JKL Shack T team, and romped away an EP Bastilla, Shan, Fallen, and Malik team. So 3-0, triple whammy for Jake Johnson, Texas.
Man, we have another. Zareth went 2 and 1 this week as well.
It's like some bizarro world. Everything's backwards. People you expect to see with 2-1s getting 3 and 0s, and people you expect to blitz with 3 and 0s getting, it's just, yeah, but you know, that's what happens. 5v5 is very different to 3v3.
It's very different, but as Zareth put it, he went against 3 guys this week that all had double GLs, and he had to deal with that in round 1, and boy, that was tough for him, but he managed to steal the win though. Round 2, he got a full clear 1 shot and managed to steal the win there. Round 3 was where his luck ran out a little bit. Dropped a battle against Hux, a battle against Darth Revan, and 2 battles against Bosk. Meanwhile, his opponent was just a little bit more efficient, only dropped 3 battles to Zareth's 4. And 1 from the banners there. So, man, Zareth, Do better.
2-1 from Indy. Trouble in round 1 as a GL Ray, kind of the GL Ray trouble. Couldn't clear them, so had to take the loss. Round 2 was nice, though. 1 fleet defense, so pretty much a bye. Round 3 was a battle of the banners, though, with both competitors keeping all their toys for offense. So his opponent kept his GL Ray and his GL and his Slacker for offense. But Indy won the battle, being a lot more efficient than his opponent. 2-1 for Indy.
Dylar had it rough this week. He went 1-2. Round 1, he held his Ray for offense to attempt a mirror match and did not work, and ended up getting stuck because of that. Round 2, he got the full clear, had no losses, so it was fine. Round 3, though, again, he saved his Ray for offense, tried to do a mirror match, and it failed again. While his opponent didn't get the full clear, still cleared 3 zones and was enough to take the win from Dylar. So 1-2. Ouch.
1-2 for Grand Admiral Arnold. Bad start for the month. Very bad start for the month for the Grand Admiral, losing both round 1 and round 2. Now, sources close to Gary have told me he's been in a bit of a bad mood since the Rebels got Mon Mothma on top of Chupio. So all is not well on the Star Destroyer. But it looks like he took out all that anger on his final round opponent, getting the 1-2 for the week.
Klesso, who's been notorious for high banner counts, had a little bit rough this week, but still did really good. Round 1, his opponent only cleared 1 team and attempted 2 other teams, and that was it. And during that round, Klesso smacked his head against a Slacker team, and but again, when your opponent only does 1 battle and wins it, it's fine. Klesso did better than his opponent did. Round 2, he got full clear 1 shot, unfortunately. Again, he was throwing stuff at Ray. Took a lot to kill. Fought against a JKL team. Took 2 times to do that one. Round 3, though, breath of fresh air. Full clear 1 shot, and his opponent didn't even show up to play. So, good job, Klesso.
Heinze. 2-1 for the week. Round 1 was a loss for the Aussie Adonis. Sometimes those GL Rays just won't go down. They just won't go down. Round 2, though, was a cracking full clear with only 1 loss to a Jedi Knight Luke and a boatload of defensive holds. Round 3 was a close one with both full clearing, with both having 1 loss, but our favourite GACer from Down Under outscored his opponent with a cheeky solo and 2 duos to win by 15 banners.
And finally, wrapping up our coverage is Mandy. Mandalore went 1-2 this week. Again, had it rough. Round 1, he had to throw both of his Galactic Legends at a Jedi Knight Luke team. He tried to be cheeky and did a solo Slacker against it, and just did not work. And he got full clear 1 shot, so that sealed the deal there. Round 2 took a ton of battles to try and drop a Hux First Order and Gas, and but he had a no-show, so he got the win just because of lack of participation. Round 3 had a double Galactic Legend defense to deal with, and just could not get the full clear. Meanwhile, his opponent got the full clear 1 shot. Tough week for Mandy. And hopefully, it turns around in his favor as we proceed on this month.
So that mad week has just, it's made things very, very, very interesting.
Tons of shakeups. Good lord.
Ram Bam was like in the middle of the bottom of the Elite Division, and he is 1 good week away from making it into the top of the Elite Division. Lazy Turtle didn't have a good one. Obviously, the 1-2, so Ram Bam's really taken advantage of that, leapt above him. Mud Bump, that tie not going his ways really, really hurt him. But Ando, yeah, Ando needed that, especially being 4-8 at the start of the month. So the 3-0 for Ando was absolutely priceless. Absolutely priceless. But there's the top.
And man, Mike
Take a
is
bow.
still on a roll.
Take a bow, Mike. You are the only undefeated person in the elite division. So enjoy it while it lasts, mate. Enjoy it while it lasts. But the top of the table is just as tight as the bottom of the table. It really, really is. I mean, Mike's banner count it's not that good, you know. The second, you know, Mike drops anything, Zareth is going to be there faster than you can blink. So everybody else is kind of just milling around, moving up and down. But yeah, it's very, very interesting at the top. Mike pulling away with 2 round wins. He can afford a couple of 2-1s. He really can. He can afford a 2-1. Or he can afford a, worst case scenario of a 1-2. I don't see an 0-3 in Mike's future. I really, really don't. But all it takes is to get matched against 3 people with double GLs. And yeah, he's going to have a bad day.
And considering that positions 2 through 5 are all people from the Gambit Alliance, man, he's got some competition to deal with.
Yeah. The come on, Mike. You know, you're doing it for the chain gang. The Gambit. There's just too many of them there. Stay there. There's 4 people from the Gambit there, and chain gang must prevail. So hold on. Anyway, Blair, why don't you tell people what we've got coming up?
Coming up next, I mentioned it earlier in the first segment, we are actually having an interview with Stone. Again, he had a really fun week, had to deal with a crash in round 3, and we wanted to sit down and talk with him and see how his week went, just to see, hey, what's 3v3 treating him like. So, Neil, how about after we get through these next bit of commercials, let's go talk to Stone, shall we?
That's a very good idea.
All right.
Are you a member of Team Paul or Team Neil? Maybe you prefer story time with the llama, or dabble in the buttery side of the force with Biscuit Weasel. Or maybe you like the escape pod talents from Down Under like Heinzie and Scotty. No matter who you support, you can get one of my designs from the Escape Podcast merch. Are you a member of Team Paul or Team Neil? Maybe you prefer story time with the llama, or dabble in the buttery side of the force with Biscuit Weasel. Or maybe you like the escape pod talents from Down Under like Heinzie and Scotty. No matter who you support, you can get one of my designs from the Escape Podcast merch store. Just go to escapepodcastaways.com, click on the merch link, and it will take you to the TeePublic site where you can support me, Mrs. Anthony, also known as Critty K. Also be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast's Discord server weekly to vote for my latest shirts in the Design Derby on Woot. Links for both of these are down below. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Does your guild want to tap into their full potential in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? Yeah! For as low as $1 a month per guild member, your guild can unleash the power of the game in ways you never thought possible. Ooh. Track your arena movements, guild progression, and much, much more. Contact Shitty Bill and get one of his shitty bots on your server today. Just look for him on our Discord server and tag or message him for more information. The link for our server is below in the description. Shitty bots, don't let the name fool you.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
And welcome back into the show, everybody. This week we have Stone 14, somebody who I have been telling everybody is one to watch for this season. It doesn't help that he is in a really, really competitive league. But before we move on any further, Flair, why don't you do do the introduction justice, because I'm terrible at doing them.
So, as Neil said, we have Stone 14 on. And again, like you said, you're in a super competitive division Div 4. But you're one of our many YouTube personalities. And that's been the fun thing, is getting to find a couple more lesser mentioned GAC content creators over on the YouTube side. I know once I jumped over to Twitch, it's been really hard to keep up with GACs on YouTube. But going back through and seeing your stuff, I'm like, man, Div 4 people, these are the people I have to look out for eventually. But Stone, seriously, it is a pleasure to have you on for this episode.
Dude, I am happy to be here. I am happy to be a part of this project. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys very much for having me.
All right,
It's great to have you on, mate.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we do have a couple of standardized sets of questions for everybody. So we're going to start off with, how did your week go?
I had a fantastic week, man. I struggled for the full clears, but I did get 3-0 for the week and secured 1 full clear very last round. So I'm really happy with that. And I had a game crash on top of it all and still pulled off the only full clear of the week.
What round was your crash in, mate?
Round 3.
The
that was the only
round.
Full clear round as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Squeaky bum time.
First battle, round 3, game crashed on me, and it just broke my heart, man. But I, overcame, persevered.
You must have been thinking worst case scenario at that point during that crash. Was it right at the start of battle, the start of the round, or was it towards the end of the round?
It was right in the opening salvo of my first round. It was just like, it was heartbreaking, man.
So let's talk about this for a second. So we'll start with what were you originally throwing into this battle?
This was a Gear 12 Kira, Gear 12 L3, and a Zeta Vandor. Mm-hmm. So I took in my triumvirate, man. I'm still developing Treya. I've got under geared, Gear 9, Gear 10 triumvirate. I was going to take it out and just annihilate them all and be done with it. And the game crashed. I had to go back in with first order, just because my foxes, loaded for DPS. Mm-hmm. It took me 4 minutes just chopping away.
Those Kira L3 teams are just nothing but timeouts.
It was just brutal, man. They were just not taking any damage whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So was it right at the start of battle, or was it like mid battle? So you're kind of winning and then it crashes, because that's what happened to me.
Basically, I don't even think I got to take a turn. I think I was in the middle of my first turn, mm-hmm. and it just crashed. I didn't get a chance to isolate out. I didn't get a chance for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it kind of sucks when that happened. That happened on one of my alt accounts earlier on. I was going in with a CLS and it crashed while the egg timer was on. And then when I went back in, I thought, maybe it hasn't registered. Maybe then they're still available. As soon as I saw that one, I'm like, great, brilliant. Yeah. Lucky for me on that alt account, my opponent didn't attack, so I got away with it. But if he'd one-shot me, which would have been possible, I'd have been screwed.
It would have hurt. It would have hurt. Those game crashes can totally change the aspect of a battle, man. It can totally, make a clear victory into a loss that you just can't recover from, man.
I know my round 3 the last week
mm-hmm.
was a loss simply because I crashed.
Sometimes you just cannot recover from it.
It was one of those that my opponent was so sloppy on his battles that literally it was just like, if this had worked, because it was Padme versus Night Sisters, I was like, this is a layup drill.
Yes.
So it's just, the fact that we're having so many crashes right now, that's kind of an issue, but it's still crazy to see that people are getting crashes and still winning despite that disadvantage from the get-go.
I was super happy, man, because I this wasn't my first crash. I've been on both ends of the stick at this point, mm-hmm. but I was really happy. You know, I'm fully aware of the crashes going around lately, but I was so happy being able to, knowing that I was still going to be able to pull it off. I took a loss, but I still got, the overall victory.
So how did it change? How did the crash right at the start change your gameplay for round 3? Because we're talking championship round on the line here, first place and 2 Zetas.
Championship round, man. I had to, first of all, I had to improv. Basically everything that I had originally gone in, my original plan was kind of out the window because I had to shift in my first order, which I was going to use to take out another team. And then it just, as soon as I saw the back wall, I was able to kind of readjust and reassess and on how to move forward. And luckily, I just flattened them. I just laid them down.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't say luckily. I would say you had the necessary tools and skill set to improvise. You improvise. There's I'm ex-military, so there's a saying: improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's what you did. You improvised, you adapted, and you overcame. Because, like you said, you looked at your front wall and you'd gone, right, I'm going to do that with that, that with that, that with that, that with that, and that with that. And the crash meant that you had to completely adapt your game plan. You had to change it on the fly.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say lucky, because obviously the crash is unlucky. I would argue that if you have a crash and you still get the win, not only did you have the tools, but you knew what to do with those tools in order to change your game plan. So I think that you simply pulled it out of the bag. You simply pulled it out of the bag. I mean, you had 2 other excellent rounds. I was just looking at how you did in round 1, and you kind of made a judgment call in round 1 as well, because you kind of knew that you didn't have what was necessary to get a full clear, but you were thinking in the back of your mind, right, well, I know that what I can do is clear the necessary territories for a win, and then just have faith in, my defense. I mean, so what made you think to just go for the 2 territory strategy and kind of show that faith in your defense?
When I opened up the board and realized that my north zones had been penetrated and flattened, I looked at what he had set out, and I could probably take it out, but I was going to be depending on RNG for too many different battles. And I made I just made the executive decision. I'm going to go in, I'm going to take out the bottom. I'm going to get more banners for doing so. And then I'm going to rely on my defense. I could have went for the top and got, maybe a couple extra banners, but I could have bombed on fleet too. I'm really good at bombing on fleet. So you know what? I'm just going to go in, I'm going to hit the ground troops on the bottom, and I'm going to rely on my defenses to be able to back it up, because, laying those tighter defenses take away from what you have on offense. So, at least if I'm going to set them down and take that handicap, I was able to rely on them to actually do their part and pull through for me, because I ended up getting more banners and pulling the win off.
All right, awesome. So a couple more questions. So out of this week, we're in 3v3. So 3v3 is really, I think some people want to experiment with some defensive placements. We have some new tunes in the mix. What was the weirdest team, or was there a standout team you had to go up against during this GAC?
Everybody loves laying Scion and Nihilus on me for some reason. There's nothing, too crazy about that. But the Kira team, that was the first time that I actually had an opponent that laid down a well thought out 3v3 team. I thought that was a good one. There's some that I've seen in the past. There's that new Dooku Nest. That's another good 3v3, just because you can stealth your separatist and make Nest tank out. I love Poggle Lead, B1, and Droideka.
I need to do that. I need to get them eventually so I can do that.
I love that team. People just don't know what to do with it. And, so it's going to get me at least one hold just from not being estimated properly. And it's not all over the place.
So did you pick up quite a lot of holds then this week?
A decent amount. You know, I probably got maybe 5 or 6 throughout the week.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. I mean, if it's enough to hold a territory, or if it's enough just to give you that wiggle room, knowing all I have to do is one shot. I don't have to be overly concerned with getting 54 or 53 or 52 banners. I can get a dirty 50 win or a 49 win because you know that your opponent has only picked up a 35. So, you know.
It really helps out a lot.
It makes a big holds in 3v3 makes more of a difference than holds in 5v5 because it is very, very difficult to come back from a couple of holds in 3v3, whereas in 5v5 you can come back from, you know, multiple holds.
Yes, and I'm really curious with this GA for people that have to face, you know, Galactic Legends and Luke. How are these people taking on, you know, these 3v3 comps? Because, you know, they can be really tough. It's a different game between 5v5 and 3v3. So I am very curious to see how these battles go.
All right. I think what would be a good standout team for you, as in what you brought out? Any teams that kind of were a highlight for you this week?
Another team that I love running on offense and 3v3 especially is MacLeod with Red Trooper and Dooku. I load Dooku up with crit chance. You get the extra bonus turns with Phasma's lead and an assist from Red Trooper anytime someone crits. So I load Phasma crit, Dooku up on crit. I get a guns are vital in 3v3. And then Rock Lobster just lays everybody out. It is such a fun
team. And he also assists anytime someone lands a stun.
No.
I thought it was stun.
It's crit.
Crit. Okay. Yeah. I could have swore it was a stun.
And you can give the whole team advantage with Red Trooper, and you can give it with Phasma for the
right. Okay.
And my Rock Lobster, you know, he's just all DPS, man. He just deletes everybody. I love it.
I mean, for me, like, I've not really, even though I unlocked him and geared him up relatively okay, there was a point where I was like, okay, I'm done gearing him up. He's not a priority at this moment.
I've never been one to chase after marquee characters right when they hit the table, but he was the first one I went after, and it really paid off. My Phasma's crap. My Phasma's trash. My Rock Lobster, man, he does it all, dude.
He's really the engine on the team.
He really is the engine on the team, and getting him to be able to pretty much take a turn every time is just.
And that's a purely 3v3 team. That's not something that you use with two others in a 5v5, is it?
No.
Just a 3v3 team that you know works.
I do it just for 3v3. And
what are we talking? Meta teams, A teams, B teams?
B teams, really B teams.
Brilliant. So I'm going to let you know just how well your opponents did, because we said it at the start, you are in a very competitive division. So obviously your current standing for last month and the current standing at the moment before this week was 10-2, and I think you were in about 5th on the table. So a 3-0, you'd look at that and go, oh yeah, I'll take that 13-2. Unfortunately, because you're in such a competitive division, every single one of your fellow competitors above you also got 3-0. So you
gotta fight with them.
So it's that you didn't get as many banners because obviously you didn't get full clears on those first two. So that is, it might hurt you. It's not something that's going to hurt you this early on in the season. But it's something that might, when we come to the end, when we get to the end of the season, and it's, you and Olimar and Moyo and Renard and Vendetta, who is completely undefeated so far. I mean, he is running away with it right now.
He's a beast.
He is an absolute beast. Former pupil of mine, actually. I always like to throw that in there when we're talking about Vendetta, that he was a former pupil of mine. But yeah, no, he's an absolute beast.
I thoroughly enjoyed competing with everybody in the division, especially Vendetta. He's been one that, we pass messages back and forth, and and he's been a lot of fun to keep up with and compete against.
It would be so awesome to see somebody in your division go head to head so that we could live stream it. It would be incredible.
That would be epic. That'd be right up there with Endall and Macias, man.
Have you guys talked about how close your top 3 and 4 60 how close your top 60 or top 50 is, because that's what the algorithm's going to pick up. So any insight as to how close you are?
We haven't done any comparisons yet, but now that you bring it up, I'm sure we might get the curiosity just to check it out to see.
Yeah, because Vendetta and I were trying to. We kept our GPs as close as possible for a year. We were just trying to keep it as close as possible for a year, so that we could face each other. Because I used to do, like you, I used to do my content on YouTube, so it was something that we tried to do
a long time ago for your pillar system.
Yeah, the pillar system series. Yeah, I
did follow you during the pillar system series.
Well, thank you. So, but that. I think that's what kind of not my pillar system. I was just testing out Warriors.
It was your take on Warriors.
Yeah, my take on Warriors pillar system. But yeah. So anyway, it's been absolutely great talking about you, Flair. You got something to ask him before we get him off?
Yeah, Stone. Where can people find you? What are you doing? And what are people looking forward to?
I am on YouTube, Stone1414. It's ST0N. I'm pretty good at posting GA within 24 hours. I do some raid videos here and there. I'm in a guild that just became fully heroic recently, so I did put out some videos for a lot of the players that were at that point, needing to get to that threshold on how to lay out some pretty good rounds. So occasionally you'll see me throw a raid video out there.
Alrighty. Neil, anything else you want to add?
No, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate.
Hey, guys, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
All right. Guys, we're going to check out the battle that you dropped because of the crash and how you cleaned it up. But on the other side of this, we're going to have our thoughts and acknowledgments. Stone, as always, it's been a pleasure to have you on, buddy.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the other side of this.
Okay, so Kira gets the jump on speed. Wow, that's a bummer. GA's been crashing on everybody lately. Stun. Got the healing immunity to stick for a minute. Red bar. It's a great timeout, team.
And welcome back to Thoughts and Acknowledgements, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that interview. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. As always, we save the last little bits of the show to acknowledge any new follows, subs, bits, anything like that. This week, we do have 3 follows we want to recognize. C-Dots with the follow. Grandmaster Durantula, also known as GMD. And finally, Michael 19 with the follows. So thank you all for following the channel and supporting the pod and the Escape Podcast and all of its related shows and endeavors in the network. But yeah, Neil, first week of 3v3. What do you think so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. I love 3v3. You know I love 3v3. I've always loved 3v3 in Grand Arena. Ever since, when they first introduced 3v3, when it was Grand Arena and before it was GAC, everybody was like, oh, this is new, this is different. And it was. But I don't understand why some people hate on it so much. Yes, it's different. 3v3 back then is different to what 3v3 now is. There was no Shakti, there was no Padme. You know, it was Darth Revans and Jedi Knight Revans. They were the meta. And if you had them and you put them on defense, you were. But I'm a big fan. I love 3v3. And you know, depending on what your GP is, you're not always going to get matched against people that you just cannot beat. But you know, you can get matched against people that are just, you know, not very sportsmanlike. Let's put it that way, instead of using the A word or the W word or the T word. You know,
also, Clash with the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much, Clash.
Thank you very much.
Hey, there is something really exciting that we want to mention as well. A separate project, not related at all to what we're doing, but it is covering some of the members of GACenter. And that is the Kyber show, done by Kin and Skeletrix. And a couple of the people that are in this week's edition of the Kyber show are as following: The Playbook, Black Mamba, Master Ryan, Cubs fan Han, and Indigo. So 3 of our people from GACenter are being covered on the Kyber show this week.
And what Kyber show basically does is really in-depth analysis of one of the matches from each of those competitors. So they're going to take something. They're probably not going to take your standard counter against a standard meta team. It's going to be something interesting, something different, but they're going to give you a full in-depth analysis of exactly what they did, how they did it, why they chose the characters, you know, how they were modded, you know, the kill orders, various different bits and pieces like that. So really, really in-depth analysis of a battle of each of those competitors. So it's definitely going to be worth checking out, and it's beautifully produced by Skeletrix.
Absolutely. And you know, like you said, you know, it's a very in-depth look at the battles, while we cover kind of a general look and approach and maybe highlight a few notable things here and there. It's not as in-depth. You don't have the granularity that they do. But yeah, super awesome. We're really excited to hear about this and to see how well it does. Other than that, unfortunately, I'm sitting out this next week of GAC because I forgot to lock in. So yeah.
Dude, you so screwed yourself because you're the bottom of your division and you're already guaranteed an 0-3.
I know. Don't remind me. I know.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, it's not an 0-3. It's just an O. Just a 0. But
yeah.
There is something that I did want to mention today. It's something that I've chatted with a couple of the competitors in in our little private Discord world. One of the things that we're planning on doing, everybody would love to know, you know, to what ends, to what means, you know, what is the purpose of doing well? You know, is it just the bragging rights? Is it just, yes, I'm the top of Division 1 or I'm the top of Elite 1? Well, what we're planning on doing, once the GACenter season concludes, which is obviously at the end of our 6-month period, we are going to be taking the 10 best performers from Division 1. It doesn't matter whether they're in the Elite Division or whether they're in Division 1. We're going to be taking the 10 best performers and we're going to be putting them in a Premier League. So as we go through the divisions, we'll go through Standard Division 1, Elite Division, and then we will cover the 10 competitors in the Premier League because, statistically speaking, they're the best of the group of competitors that we've got. So that is what the competitors are playing for. The competitors are playing for one of those 10 spots. So when we start GACenter Season 2, there will be a special Premier League division that they are in based purely on performance, not GP, not the division that they're in, based purely on their performance. So out of the 30-odd people that we've got in Division 1, now 33, 34, the 10 best, those are the ones that we're going to cover.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be something.
And then there will be Paul.
And then there will be Paul. You know, we're constantly talking about ways that we can improve the show and things that we can do when we do when we get to Season 2 of GACenter, and we're talking months down the road. And This cat is still bugging me. But no, I'm really excited for this, and I think again, like you said, I think it's gonna be a good motivator for our Div 1 players, and those who are going into Div 1 as well.
Absolutely.
All the Div 2 players that are just about there. This month we had Biscuit and Jigabachi join, and I think whatever
Jigabachi,
the three
Biscuit
of them
Weasel,
joined
and
Div
whatever.
1, so they're in the running now to try and get into this Premier League.
Yeah, and I'm 200k away from Div 1.
You're taking your sweet time to get there.
I am taking my sweet time. I haven't decided if I want to push myself into Div 1 until next to GACenter season yet. I'm not sure. I'm very, very iffy as to whether I want to be Div 1 just yet.
Mm-hmm. But all right, guys, I think that just about does us for tonight.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts? Any closing acknowledgements, Neil?
No, I think we're good, mate.
All right. Well,
roll on the season.
I'm gonna have fun watching everybody else play, and everyone else, you all take care. Have yourselves a great night, day, wherever you are in the world. Neil, I love saying this every time.
I know you do, mate.
Push the button.
You got it, mate. Ta-ta for now, folks.
See you guys.